All right. Well, I will get it kicked off here. Todd, if I think there's a Kyle in here. I don't know if that's Coletta, but we'll get to that in a second. But just wanted to welcome everybody. Just as a reminder, this is our Atlanta conference call for those umpires that have some interest in hearing about everything we do at Lakepoint and in the Atlanta metro area. If you jumped on and we're looking for Indianapolis, Kansas City, et cetera, those will be coming up in future weeks. So I know sometimes it's a bit confusing with all the United stuff and all the different Zooms and conference calls. So this is Atlanta market stuff. And I want to welcome everybody and certainly thank you for a great 2022. We put in about 5,000 games down at Lake Point and the offsites, which for really 8 main fields is a tremendous amount of work. And obviously all of you have baseball from probably late January or early February to the middle of November. So there's a lot of opportunities. But just to give you an idea, up in Indianapolis where we have say 30 fields, 35 fields, depending on what weekend it is, we do just over 10,000 games. So you guys are doing half the games we are with a quarter of the fields down in Atlanta. So that's certainly an accomplishment. And I know how much hard work that takes through the weather, the heat, everything that goes on, the late nights, the rain delays. So we're all really thankful from myself on down through the team. We've got a lot of exciting things going on in 2023 at United as we get kind of more and more out of COVID, which I know is a word that we feel like we don't even hear anymore sometimes. But and we're continuing to develop in the collegiate space, in the travel space, and then with United Tri-State in New Jersey. So tons of opportunities. But in 2022, we saw a ton of our umpires move on to levels of the high school state tournament in Georgia that they hadn't worked before. If you look down at who just graduated from umpire school and from the umpire prospect and development camp, we have so many umpires that have gone through our program at some point, either as instructors or as umpires working on the field. And we're really proud of that. And any type of accomplishment that we see from our umpires excelling is great to see. It's not only professional and collegiate baseball, it's getting that first varsity high school game or, getting to some level of the state tournament, even in Little League, Cal Ripken, whatever it might be. And we have so many different umpires who have achieved that. And we hope that we've played just a small part in that through the years. We know that there are a ton of places you can work baseball. If you want to travel, if you want to stay in town, work across the street, you can do that. And we appreciate everybody who makes the choice to come work with PBR, PBRT, and with our program here at United. Also, just in terms of college baseball, and especially out of our clinic in the October timeframe, a ton of umpires, especially moving up with Dave Brown now in Conference Carolinas in the SAC, and then also with Mike in the Gulf South and the Southern states. So really proud of for all of you who have taken that step and utilized hopefully a little bit of the training and feedback that you've gotten while on site at Lake Point. So and into 2023, I envision a lot more of the same, continuing to try to help umpires through culture, through on-field reps, and certainly have some people at the facility who can help you at times to reach whatever goals you might have. And we appreciate you all being with us during that time frame. So Todd, do you know if we have Kyle or Hudson?
I'm looking. I don't see either one of them.
Okay. So hopefully one of them will be on here at some point, but we're just going to get a couple comments from those guys. Kyle and Hudson are, for those of you who are new to the call here, really the the guys that make Lakepoint run from an operations standpoint on the tournament side. And we're really happy to have great partners and great partnerships with them. Without those guys, we certainly wouldn't be able to work the way that we do. And in terms of a partnership, it's more that than them dictating to us. So we really appreciate that. And I know from conversations with those two and also with Matt Yarber that they really appreciate all that you all have done through the years and are excited to continue working with us for the future. So hopefully one of them jumps on and we'll kind of skip back to that part. But I want to introduce you all to a few people that I think everyone knows at this point. Todd Marler's on the call. Obviously works as the president of United Travel with I guess a major in Lakepoint, I'll call it. Just being down there and being at Lakepoint probably more than the other sites. So, but we will see that the director of operations position down there has transitioned to Wilson and to Wilson Marler. So him and Todd and some others will really start with getting that facility going and assigning and supervising and all of those things. But Wilson will be your main contact now, and we're excited for him to do a great job. I know last year he came in and was in a position where a lot of things were thrown at him and was pretty successful. So we're excited to have him on board full time, and you'll hear from him later in the call with some different procedures and different things that he'll need from all of you. I will say this, many of you have worked on the field with Wilson, and I think sometimes when you have a peer-to-peer relationship with someone who then might step into the position that he's going into, it's sometimes easy to take advantage of that. And just remember, he's got a job to do now that involves a lot of assigning and a lot of coordinating and getting people to the right places. So give him, the same ample respect that you'd give Todd and I in terms of when something pops up and you need something. You're not necessarily talking to your friend that you're drinking a beer with anymore, but somebody who's got a job to do. So keep that in mind as you start working with Wilson more and more. Two other people, one you'll see virtually tonight, Brian DeBrouwer, Director of Training. He will have some words of wisdom through a video. Donnie Smith is on with us tonight. I don't know how much of a speaking role we have put out for Donnie here, but always supporting us and supporting the Atlanta crew where, he really started with United Travel and working with us up in Indy a bunch now. So I know you saw Donnie's face a little bit in the fall, and I'm sure you'll see him throughout the year, especially those who are headed to Florida for Rustmat. Last but not least, Nobu is on the call. Nobu is our Director of Training, and he'll just have a few words during the course of the night here about how we can all help each other, help recruit, and be a part of the solution to what's becoming a growing umpire shortage. Before I end my comments, I want to thank a couple of people who I think are on the call. I want to thank Michael Bates from GHSA. He really does a great job working with Todd and Wilson, and we would be nowhere near as successful as we are if we didn't have some interaction with GHSA and the understanding that we're all in this together, and we're not here to take umpires from them or them take umpires from us, but we all need to figure out what's the best way to help umpires, give umpires chances to succeed. And I felt like without saying that, I would be remiss. So thank you. I also would like to thank Mitch Schwark, who's on the call. Mitch was last year huge in making sure that the Sun Belt transitioned from himself to Todd in terms of assigning, and that's a huge cap on our program for umpires to continue to improve. It's always great to see Mitch on site. We don't see him too much, and would love to see him more, but we certainly understand and hope to see him a little bit more in any role moving forward. So thanks to those two guys. Again, our program would not be with it what it is without everything that you all have contributed. So thank you very much. I did just see, I think Hudson come in, Todd. Am I right about that?
We've got Hudson or Kyle one. I'm not positive which one.
Okay,
I'm here. Hudson's here.
Cool, Hudson. Well, what I'm gonna do is you get yourself collected. I'm gonna turn it over to Nobu for a second. He's gonna talk for maybe 5 or 10 minutes about recruitment of umpires, and then we'll have some thoughts from Hudson on our relationship between PBR and United. So, Nobu, you're up, buddy.
Yep, there we go. Thanks, Chief. Appreciate it. Just want to echo Alex's words real quick. Big congrats to Wilson. Really looking forward to working with him for a full baseball season, and I'm confident, just like everyone else, that he'll succeed in this role. Just wanted to spend a couple minutes tonight, talking about the ever-going problem, and it's no secret that game counts keep increasing, but it's theming that there's just a big divot in terms of the population of umpires, and we always seem to be being asked to pick up more games and pick up the slack, and we always talk about what's the end solution to all this, and there's obviously no overnight solution, no overnight fix to any of these things. So when we talk about kind of how these building blocks go, it's, I think, the really big focus that we can all apply to ourselves in 2023 is how do we speak to people who are just coming into our industry? How do we speak to the young umpires, not necessarily by age, but could be by experience or experience at a certain level, and how we can make sure that we're retaining these people, how these people are sticking. We see these statistics about for every 10 officials, we're going to lose 7 of them by their 4th year, and that's just a really tough retention rate to deal with, and that just won't do any of us any favors. So it's, I think, one big thing that especially I personally am trying to make a big effort through my training efforts over here in New Jersey, and something that we can all apply to, whether we're a trainer or just a mentor on the field, is let's not hold each other back. And in terms of, and that's not if we're a person that controls whether someone gets enough games, but also we can play a big impact on a new umpire's expectations of a certain league, a conference, a level, an umpire organization, or our industry in general, about what can we expect in our first year, in our second year, in our third year. A narrative that I keep hearing a lot is, hey Nobu, how many years of sub varsity do I have to do to work varsity? How many years of travel baseball do I have to do to attend this clinic? How many years of high school varsity baseball do I have to do to go to my first college clinic? And I think, while we shouldn't devalue experience or anything like that, it's also important to tell each other and make umpiring an industry and a community to where if someone deserves something, if their abilities match a certain level, a certain amount of expectations, whether how little or how long they've worked, that shouldn't hold them back. It's a certain individual reached out to me based in New Jersey of, hey, I want to make the transition to the college level, but I think I've been working high school for too long. And, the conversation we had really didn't even bring up his ability. It was almost just a long gone thought about how he just felt like he held himself back, or the world kind of held him back in terms of preventing him from achieving his goals. And I think when that sort of mentality becomes widespread, it makes a problem that already exists significantly worse. So I think, as we go through the year, as we go through our lives outside of baseball, we're always going to talk to people who may go, hey, I want to get into umpiring. I've thought of it. And I think that first contact, that first conversation we have is going to highly impact what people view our industry as, what this umpiring world is, especially for somebody that has no idea what this is like going in. So let's get away from the hey, cut your teeth doing your 3 years of JV, then maybe you're good enough. Let's make it so that, hey, if you work hard, you do the right thing, go to the right organization, listen to the right people, you will be good enough. And, you will achieve those goals, whatever they may, And I feel like it's my job and Alex and Todd and Wilson's job as members of the staff here at United to where, we're not here to tell you to come work for us or tell you that this is the right place to be. It's on us to show you that is the case. Like Alex already pointed out, we had a really, really tremendous success in 2022 with guys making the jump to professional baseball, guys getting working their first junior college or NCAA games, and that's something to be celebrated. And in certain parts of our network with United Travel, you can work that 8U baseball and then make your way up to college level baseball, all wearing a United hat. And I think those things are really special, and those things should be celebrated, and that information should be disseminated to people that want to get into umpiring, as well as people who are also umpires that are already out there that are kind of weighing their options. It's not, they say Nobu says it's the best place to work. It's Nobu showed me that this is the best place to work. And I just want to really make the point that this should be our main emphasis for this upcoming year. It's like I said, it's going to be a grind. It's going to be tough, but that one umpire, if he really sticks with it, he can turn into a 150 game umpire a year. And, that's a slot on the field right there. That can make a huge difference for a place where we have high game counts like Atlanta or Indianapolis or Kansas City and whatnot. I think to an individual level, let's make the effort to, talk to someone, bring someone in. There's a lot of avenues in real life where we can very easily access and where we can access people where people are suited for umpiring, whether that's a veterans group that you may know, or those college graduates that are looking for a summer job because their internship, doesn't pay them anything. They need a flexible job. Well, here's umpiring. You can adjust your schedule however you please, and you can work your day job and make a lot of money. So let's promote the positives of umpiring. Let's promote the positives of our organization. Hopefully we show that to you. We will continue to show that to each and every single one of you. And down to an individual level, let's all try to make a difference here in 2023. That's all I got. I'll kick it back to you, Todd. Or Alex.
I'll take it. Thanks, Nobu. Appreciate those thoughts and comments. Nobu works kind of across all of our sites and brands on recruiting and answering a lot of questions. So if you have someone to send Nobu's way, certainly do it. I will kind of jump back up to the top here, and Hudson, we'll kind of turn the floor over to you just for some thoughts from the PBR perspective. And so I'll turn it over. Hudson.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Hudson at Lakepoint here. The last few years have been great with Todd and Wilson and the crew. I think the biggest thing for us is obviously being fresh into Lakepoint a few years back is building those relationships and setting those expectations that PBR and United Umpires has as a whole. And I think Todd came in and kind of set the precedent for that along with Kyle and I in our tournaments at Lakepoint. And then obviously Wilson's done a great job transitioning over to Lakepoint, taking on a bigger role. It's been pretty seamless. Todd knows kind of the same with me and Kyle is myself, Kyle and Todd we've been able to take a little bit of a step back and let the games play out and let the tournaments almost run themselves at times. I think, like I said, the expectations have grown at Lakepoint. It's obviously a crazy space north of Atlanta and the whole metro Atlanta area. And I think we've done a great job at containing that. And obviously the level of play just keeps getting higher and higher, especially in our high school events, going off site more and more each year. Todd and Wilson have done a great job at making the changes and adapting to that, and knowing who to send where, and they, like I said, the offsites pretty much run themselves. We can count on the 2 umpires there to get their 4 games in and chalk them up and call it a day, So I think that, like I said, keep reiterating the expectations. I think they've continued to be met each year on our side from you guys, and I would think it's vice versa as well. Todd could touch on that a little bit, but I think it's just building on that in 2023. Obviously, expansion isn't down at Lakepoint. Obviously, we're just going to go offside a little bit more, and Todd and Wilson will adjust with that and continue to build that part of the brand, just because with the 8 fields at Lakepoint, everybody wants to be there. So Wilson and the guys can kind of run the show there. But other than that, I mean, that's really all I got. You guys have done a great job with us. I feel like our relationship is really, really good with Todd and Wilson and Alex when you're in town, and whenever you guys bring in other guys, I feel like we're always meeting new faces, and guys are bouncing in and out of Indy and Kansas City and stuff. So I think we just continue to build off of those things for 2023.
Thanks, Hudson. I look forward to seeing you this year. It's great to have you and Kyle and everybody down there supporting us, and we get that kind of support all over the country, and certainly appreciate it in Atlanta, especially when things get a little hot under the collar down there. So thanks for coming on tonight, and thanks for all your support always. We appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, guys.
So we are going to hear a little bit from Brian DeBrouwer virtually now. I think, Jim, you might need a second just to cue it up, but Brian has made a video for our group for the next 3 weeks here, just talking a little bit about some expectations, goals, thoughts that he's had for 2023. So here we go.
Hey everyone, Brian DeBrouwer here. Glad to have a few minutes of your time to talk about some training related items heading into the 2023 United travel season. A couple things that we'll touch on tonight. Our instructional content library. Dealing with fans, as we know, is a big problem in the travel baseball world, and owning your improvements. Let's dive right in. First off, our instructional content library. And what we've done is cataloged all of the topics from the off-season workshop videos and given those to you in a Google Doc. And our hope is that you'll use this to help not only yourself, but also your partners and your local organizations that you may be a part of. So this is going to be a doc with a hyperlink that goes directly to each chapter of those YouTube videos. That document can be accessed through this link. We'll put that in the chat right now so that you can go take a look. And we also suggest that you visit United Umpires on YouTube. This is where our off-season workshop videos live, as well as a lot of other training content that we've produced over the years. But this catalog looks something like this. So if you follow that hyperlink, you'll be brought to a Google Doc that looks like this, and each of those timestamps on the left is a hyperlink directly to that topic. So if you are having some trouble with check swings, or you feel like you're not managing your indicator or the baseballs or your mask, go to this sheet and take a look at that section of the video. And the idea here is these videos are, somewhere between 90 and 120 minutes. And expecting our umpires to sort through that to find the topic that applies to the given situation is tough. So this allows you to scroll through one document and check out all those topics. So talking about dealing with fans, this is one of the things in the travel baseball world that can become really problematic and drive some umpires away, and we don't want that for you. So how can we do a better job of dealing with fans? Well, let's set ourselves up for success with a really good first impression. And when I go and watch umpires work travel baseball games, the ones who really succeed walk on the field and immediately try to kind of make a good first impression with people, being a servant of the game, making them feel like we're there to serve the game is always a good thing, versus the ones who have trouble with fans walk out onto the field with bravado. And bravado is a thing that we use to reinforce our confidence. Unfortunately, bravado really negatively affects all the people around us. So if you find yourself walking out on the field with your chest puffed out, telling everyone that you're in charge, maybe try a different tactic and see if that helps you to have more positive interactions with the people around you. So when the fans do start acting silly, which we know they're going to do, if it's appropriate, we think using the coach as a first step is a really good way to try to kind of gently point things back in the right direction. So use that coach that, if you can find time in between innings to say, hey, coach, I want to focus on this game, but your fans are really getting out of control. If you could help me with that, I'd appreciate it. And in those interactions with coaches, we want to create win-win situations. So the wrong way to handle this is the fans behind you are yelling and you turn and yell at the coach and tell him to get his fans under control, because now you've pushed that coach into a corner where he's got to decide, does he do what the umpire wants, or does he do what his fans want? And guess what? His fans are paying his salary. And so if you push them into a corner where they have to pick who they're going to decide to support, they're not going to pick us. So we've got to create win-win situations by handling that in a very tactful way, and that's usually done kind of during some downtime when we can get their ear away from the fans. And then once we progress to the issue with a fan being beyond the control of the coach, or if it goes directly from 0 to 100 right away, we want to get the site staff involved immediately. Okay, so whether that means turning around and asking for baseballs, and then when the site, the quad manager comes down, letting them know, hey, I'm having some problems with these particular fans. If you could help me out, that'd be great. Whatever means you need to get the site staff involved, do that as quickly as possible so that you can go back to focusing on the game. We don't want you as our on-field officials focusing on the fans. And kind of a guiding principle for these situations is to really detach your pride from them. And believe me when I say it's really hard to suffer fools. That's something that I've struggled with for a lot of my umpiring career. When you have stupidity from fans surrounding you, you want to prove them wrong, right? Our pride guides us to try to prove people wrong. But again, that doesn't create a win-win situation. And now you have stupidity from the fans and pride from the umpires clashing, and everybody's going to end up being mad at each other at the end of it. So if we can try to detach our pride from these situations and realize that trying to prove these fans wrong is just not going to happen, go directly to that site rep, get them involved, and then go back to officiating the game. And you'll have a much more positive experience, we hope. So, last topic is owning your improvement. We certainly are proud of having really good people that surround you as umpires. Derek, Josh, and the Marlers just do an outstanding job of helping the umpires that are underneath them. But you, as an umpire, have to own your improvement. What do we mean by that? The bare minimum of this is asking your partner after a game, what do you have for me? Okay. If you find that you're not asking this question, take a look at whether you're really owning your improvement. So what do you have for me is the bare minimum here. What's a better way we can do this? A better way is asking your partner a specific question. How do you think I did with X? Whatever that is, whether that's the low pitch, my rotations, my demeanor, my signals. Ask specific questions of your partners, and then they will be forced to give you specific answers. So it's really easy when you say, what do you have for me, for your partner to go, no, I thought you did a good job. But when you ask them a specific question, very often they'll have something that they observed from your game. And then the best way to approach this is before the game, saying to your partner, hey, I'm working on this. I'm working on getting set on time or the outside pitch. I'm working on this. Can you let me know throughout the game and afterwards what you think? Now you've primed them to be aware of something that you may be struggling with, and they'll be focused on that. So think about how you can own your improvement and take these steps to make sure that you're getting the most out of your year as a United Travel umpire. And throughout everything, we want to constantly ask ourselves, how can I serve this game in the best possible way? And if you're doing that, you're going to have a really good year on the field. Thanks again for your time. Have a great season, and please reach out to me if you have any issues or things that I can help you with. Take care.
Thanks, Brian. Jim, thanks for playing that and getting that up. I am going to talk for a few more minutes here about some of our housekeeping details, and then I will turn it over to Todd and to Wilson to finish this up. So first of all, 2022 1099s, I just want to say this in case anyone didn't figure it out. So we paid the entire year through Arbiter Pay. Arbiter, in conjunction with some of these new laws that apply to these third-party payment services, took over all of the 1099ing and all of that aspect of this end of it. So what you would have received is a 1099 that comes from Arbiter under Arbiter's TIN or EIN, and that will encompass money that you were paid through Arbiter Pay. So if you made $1,000 from United Travel and $1,000 from another company that uses Arbiter Pay, you're probably going to see a 1099 from Arbiter for $2,000. So, and I believe in your back end of Arbiter, you can see how much you made from each organization. So while you'll get one lump 1099 there, I do believe that you can see which organizations made up that amount. So I didn't want anyone to think they would be getting a 1099 from me directly, because you will not, for United Travel stuff out of Atlanta. So if it was paid through Arbiter Pay, the 1099 will come from Arbiter. So that's a wrap on the 2022 payroll. 2023, just in terms of how we'll pay it, how we'll do it, no changes there. We're going to continue to use Arbiter Pay. It just seems the most efficient from a lot of different avenues. I hope that at the very least we're consistent with when we pay, how we do it, and things of that nature. For our game fees in Atlanta for 2023, we'll be at an hour 45 time limit, $60, 2-hour time limit, $70. That is increases on both of those ends. We're really happy that our partners continue to work with us to get game fees up a few dollars every year. I know in Atlanta, we sat at 55 for a really long time. So to see us get up to 60 for hour 45s and 70 for 2 hours, we just keep moving in the right direction, a couple dollars at a time. Registration fee actually will go down slightly this year. So our dues registration is going to go down to $105. We will continue to deduct it in the same way. So $15 a week that you work until you reach the 105, which is the capped amount. Two kind of things that are a little bit different this year is we will not include a hat this year. Hats will be available at Atlanta. We have made a bunch of changes there to get hats on site and for everyone to have hats. I know there was some supply chain issues, this and that. So, but we didn't want to include a hat in the dues this year. For those of you that, work somewhere between 30 and 50 games, you have a brand new hat from last year, and, would rather lower the dues a little bit and let you use the hat that you have. That way it's a little bit of money in your pocket. And if you were a 300 game umpire, then, it's time to buy a hat anyway. So those will be available on site. And, the hats will be on a payroll deduction. We are looking at some avenues to get blank shirts on site as well, blank umpire shirts. And Wilson will talk a little bit about, the standards for dress that we have, but just as an avenue for all of you to, if you do need a new shirt or you have to replace a shirt, instead of having to go out, get it, pay shipping, do this, do that, we're hopefully going to have some things like that on site a little bit more this year, so that if you are in a situation where you need a new shirt, you want to get a powder blue shirt that you've never had, or whatever color they're calling that blue this year, you'll have that ability without having to pay shipping, having to wait 2 weeks for it to come, et cetera, et cetera. In terms of that registration fee, we do have a time period that we will not deduct it. From March 31st to May 21st, we will not deduct any signing fees at all. That's just something that we instituted last year kind of on the fly, and we wanted to keep that going. So during that time period, no registration fees. As far as if anyone is new and has not worked with us in the past, there is a Google form out there where you provide some basic information. One of the things in there is consenting to a background check. Because we're using Arbiter Pay now, if you're working in Atlanta, if there's a question about Social Security number, we don't need it. We do not need it for you to fill that in. All of that is held behind the security walls of Arbiter and Arbiter Pay now. So I don't have to handle your Social Security number, and you don't have to worry about who's getting it, who's breaching it, et cetera, et cetera. So Todd just put the Google form into the chat. So again, if you have not ever filled out a registration form, you can jump on there and do that. If you have filled one out, we will assume that you continue to consent to a background check unless you send me an email and let me know that that's no longer the case. So we will just assume your consent to a background check continues with that Google form, rather than having 1,500 people across everything try to fill out another Google. So that's where we're at. If you're having any trouble registering, first point of contact in Atlanta will be Wilson. Todd can help, Nobu can help, a lot of different people can help if you're having trouble registering, but certainly start with Wilson. And I think that is all the kind of paperwork stuff I have in terms of payroll and all that good stuff. So I will turn it over to Todd.
Alex, thank you. I just want to say thank you to everybody for being here. I'm truly excited about everything going on and starting here in 23. Just a couple of real quick things. So a few people on here that just graduated from umpire school today at Harry's. So congratulations to you guys. I got to see some stuff from Janet and from Matthew Hunter, and we're super proud of all of those guys for getting through that. And the few umpires that we had at the MLB Academy that graduated earlier in the week. We're super proud of those guys also. So I don't have a whole lot to say. 2023 is going to bring some different stuff for all of us, especially for me, kind of spreading me a little bit further out across all of the locations. So I'm still here. This is where you guys are the ones I started with. So I'm a phone call away or a text away. All you got to do is just reach out. So, but the one thing I do want to talk about is we got Donnie here, we got Nobu here. I saw Derek's on here also. This is a group that cares about each other. We sling United family around pretty loosely, but it really means something to me. So all of y'all know that anything I can do to help y'all, I'm willing to do. So with that, I'll turn it over to Wilson. Let him. I'm not the crowd, Jeff. Appreciate you pointing that out. I'll turn it over to Wilson and let him go through some of this stuff.
Hey everybody! For the people who don't know me, I'm Wilson Marler. I'm excited for this opportunity that Alex and Todd have given me to take on this year, assigning the games at Lakepoint. To start out with, I just kind of want to talk about the professionalism of how we want to look this year. Let's try and get away from the super faded black shirts and the super faded pants. Let's think about this as a business, and let's invest in ourselves this year and look better on the field. It will give us a better reputation with the players, coaches, PBR staff, and overall we will just look better. Our first tournament is supposed to be February 19th, the Sunday only tournament, and that's right around the corner, everybody. So please get an arbiter and get your availability set, because it's hard to assign people games when they aren't even available. So let's get that figured out this year. And like Todd said, I'm always going to be a call away from y'all. But if I don't answer the phone, please try and leave a detailed message. So when I get back to you, I'll have an answer for the question you're asking. Let's stray away from, hey, this is Todd. Can you call me back? Because then when I call you back and you ask me the question, I may not have an answer for you right away. And then I'm just going to have to call you back with the answer. That's going to make everyone just flow a whole lot better. For the people who haven't been at Lakepoint, we have a locker room right next to our parking lot area. And if you choose not to change in the locker room for whatever reason it is, I get it. Just either shoot me a text, a call, or come into the locker room just to say hey and check in with me so that I know you're there. And I would prefer everyone to try very hard to be here at least 30 minutes before your game time. I would like it to be earlier than that, but 30 minutes at a minimum, so you can get with your partner, you can know what you two are working on, where you're going, and I'll know you're there, most importantly. I really don't have a whole lot, guys. We're not changing much from what happened last year. We're going to still have water for everybody, which is a great thing. And Lakepoint is still going to be able to provide us ice, which is amazing. And other than that, I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, because none of us can teach you to want to do this, but all of us can teach you to become a good umpire. And on that note, I'm just going to throw it back to Alex with a thank you to everybody for coming out and hearing us all out tonight. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to take it back real quick. So a couple of things. Everything in the spring this year is going to be 145. We're only going to have 11, 12s, 13s, and 14s all spring. They're all going to play 145. We're going to do PBR is working to see if they can get the clock on the scoreboard to start at 145. If not, obviously we're going to have a countdown from 2 hours. So at 15 minutes, we're going to stop. We're going to need to communicate that with the coaches. I think everyone can relate to the time being, one of the biggest problems that we deal with on a day in, day out, game in, game out basis. So, I encourage everyone to get them a stopwatch, or, if you choose to use your phone and you do that, that's fine also. But let's be very communicative with the coaches when we start. That time is going to start at first pitch, not when we break the plate meeting, but first pitch. And so we need to communicate that to everyone. I am begging of you, please don't try and cut 2, 3, 8, 12 minutes off of the clock. Okay. Everything that they're doing in the towers is set with when they push the button for the first pitch, that's when the time's going to start. Okay. We shouldn't be more than roughly 30 seconds off from them. Okay. There is no way we can be 4 minutes. We can't be 8 minutes. We can't be 12 minutes off. Okay. So I beg of you, let's not go down that road, because it's probably going to end up making everyone angry, and we're going to end up having to put people back on the field after we've gotten off the field or almost off of the field. So there's not a whole lot else to cover. I think Alex had to step away for a second. He might be back at this point. If there's anything that anybody has questions, I'm going to open it up right now, Jim. If we can they just unmute themselves and speak?
Yeah, if they want to have a question, they can either put it in the chat or they can unmute themselves and speak.
Okay. So if anybody's got anything, and before I do that, I just want to reiterate what Alex said, how much we appreciate Michael Bates and GHSA and everything that he does for our local, well, actually for the whole state. Michael does a great job, and I've been fortunate enough to get to work with him at the state and with Marietta. So we really appreciate everything with him. And then, probably my bestest buddy in the world, Mitch Schwartz, gave me an opportunity to take over something that he cherished and loved in the Sun Belt last year. And I can't thank him enough for that. And we're going to continue to keep Mitch on the field as much as we can, and hopefully get his son Sammy out to work at some point this year. So if anybody's got any questions, fire away.
Hey, Todd, is Damian Gatlin. Good evening, everybody. So,
what's up, Dave?
What's happening? So I just had a quick question in regards to the time. You know how we, have those freezes, like when we had delays and things of that nature. So
Correct.
we would retain the time in that regard, or is there going to be something worked out where they can, freeze it and pick it back up, or whatever the case may be with the quad?
We're going to keep that time on the field, and and look, we're working through this with the PBR people and the Lakepoint people both. But what I'm being told and what I've been told is that when that freezes, when it comes back online, it's up to date. I argued that, and so they're looking into that. But at this point, we're going to continue to keep it on the field, and hopefully they have made some improvements to their Wi-Fi system that maybe we won't have to deal with those freeze situations this year at all.
And with
Hey,
that,
Todd, I'll jump in real quick just to help you out.
There you go. Thank you, Hudson.
Yeah. I just want to be transparent with you guys. The whole app system that PBRT up at Hibbler up in Indy, all those guys that we've been trying to use, it's more of a headache for us than the time is for you guys. We know how frustrating the time stuff is. It's even more frustrating for us. So just moving forward, whatever happens, Yarber, for some of you may know, he's the guy at Lakepoint running the tech stuff, trying to get everything cleaned up and simplified, because I know me and Todd have talked about it. The app and the live scoring is truly the only thing that we're missing, on that needs to be improved, that could take us to the next level a little bit. So that is being worked on night and day with our tech team, trying to figure out what the best option is, whether it's what we're using now, a new system. It's like the main priority with all of tournaments. But just to answer your question, just keep everything on the field. Like I said, just to be transparent, that the board is just as much as a headache for us it is you guys. And obviously you guys and us are much more reliable than technology can be sometimes. So just going forward, for now, you just keep that on the field, just like you don't have a scoreboard up there. I know this has been a frustration for Todd and Wilson and all you guys, and it has been for us as well. But I think just taking computer error out of it, keeping it to human skill is the best route to go right now. So you're calling that game just like there's not even a board up there, because we all know how those operators can be sometimes. So just wanted to be transparent, be honest with you guys, and like I said, they're working on it. I know that's a everyday saying, but just wanted to be transparent. So
Thanks, Hudson.
Yep.
Hey, Donnie, I see you there. You got anything you want to add?
Let me unmute myself real quick. No,
There
I'm
you
just
go.
gonna piggyback a few things that I heard. I'll probably say when we talk about Indianapolis. I know Wilson talked about being on time. I can say from my personal situation, communication is key, guys. When we're in the morning, we're trying to organize all these different umpires. We got a hard start at 8 o'clock usually at my facility. If you're going to be 15 minutes late and you're normally 30 to 40 minutes early, please pass that along. It makes our end a lot less stressful knowing that you're just running a couple minutes late. That is really the biggest thing that I'd like to say. Just have open communication with Todd, Wilson, anyone else. It goes a long way in just helping make everything pretty smooth. That's it.
Thanks, Donnie. Any other questions, anybody? Anybody got anything to say?
Yeah, Todd, have we met? First of all, you said some nice things
Mitch
about
Schwartz.
me. Yeah.
Well, your wife paid me to make you feel better about yourself.
That was very nice.
Yeah, it was kind of better.
Thanks for the kind words. Here's what I want to say to everybody. I live over in Gwinnett, so Lakepoint's a little bit of a haul, but on this side of town, we are doing everything we can to recruit. Todd mentioned my son, Sammy. He's 17, and he started umpiring this fall and loves it. And he plays baseball as well. And we are starting to get into the high schools locally and find kids that want to umpire that know baseball a little bit. There's 60 people on this call. If everybody could recruit one person to become an umpire, that's 60 more umpires. That's huge. So I just want to throw that out there. Think about the future for umpiring. There you go.
Absolutely. Mitch, thank you. Anybody?
Hey, Todd, it's Wesley.
Wesley, how are you, sir?
Doing great. I just have a
Good.
question. Being a new umpire for GHSA this year, my work schedule, like, it'd be easier for me in the summer to do some of the United stuff. When we fill out the form, is there anything we need to put down specifically for that for y'all?
No, just
Okay.
fill it out, and then Wilson or myself will get in touch with you, and we can work through your schedule availability as we go.
Yes, sir. And then for United, is Lake Point the only location of which that's used for games, or are there other ones?
Lake Point is the main one. We're gonna have probably 8 off sites this year,
Okay.
7 or 8. But North Cobb Christian, Adairsville, Cass, Old Cass, Woodland, potentially GHC's new facility, and then a couple that I know I'm missing. So, but there will be other sites. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yep. Anybody got anything else? All right. I think Mitch. I think Alex is back, and I think we can close this out, and everybody can get out of here. And if not, Alex going once, twice. You there?
No, Alex is gone.
Okay, Alex is gone. So, all right. So with that, guys, we're just gonna close it out. Once again, I just want to say thank you for everything. I look forward to working with everybody. Everybody get out and get your high school season, your college season going. And we'll be ready to kick off February 19th on Sunday only. And then I think the first weekend in March, we're full blown Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we'll be that until Memorial Day weekend. So I look forward to seeing all of you. And if there's anything that I can do to help anybody, give me a shout, or shoot me an email or whatever, and we'll go